What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker reaction, this time from somebody different, a new person in my Patreon producer queue. This is from Lysaria, and this is Flo. So I'm already pretty familiar at this point with Masayoshi Soken's work, and I'm very familiar with Final Fantasy XIV's sound profile, but also that means that I don't fully know what to anticipate, because that soundtrack has so many things going on in every event, every DLC they have has something new and something different. So given that this is from Endwalker, I have a ballpark to go off of, but not really much else. So I guess without further ado, I have to hear what this sounds like. So let's go! Ooh. That sounds very motify. I don't think I've heard it, but it sounds like that's a character song or something already. I can kind of hear that in there. There's another melody.
Welcome and well met, my brave little spark.
Or maybe we were just being introduced via melodic interlude.
Oh, I have awaited you patiently all this time.
The reverb is huge on that voice.
Every fate, now sing with me once more. Share of your life, far greater than
it's like she's singing into an empty auditorium.
The tale overflows.
Beautiful voice. Not that I expect any less. Ooh.
Remember the rain.
Nice little pseudo jazzy lift on that one.
Each drop a blessing from heavens above, and how as time flowed on those waters became one. Streams
also, I doubt she's supposed to sound or be this character, but I'm like putting her voice onto the character in the image here, as if they're singing it. Kind of fits. I just doubt that's what's supposed to be. Ooh, little R&B run there. I'm really impressed by the vocal tension between her and especially those strings that were in there. Soken is really doing a great job at keeping those kind of at odds. Just like there. These piano transitions too. Lots of diminished tensions right there. God. She's performing this beautifully. It almost sounds like she's on the verge of tears at times. This is why we get performers and not just vocalists to do songs, right? Really nice, beefy lift on that transition. have just had some tension in the background vocals.
is but one step forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, they're really not letting her separate from the instruments. All that tension keeps holding her back from releasing the tension, like, almost entirely. Beautifully done, though. It's so well balanced. Even right there, no release, leaving it on tension. There's a release. Man. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. That was beautiful, dude. What a composition. I think I'm going to end up being very introspective with this one. I'm going to get fairly deep on the meaning of this song, at least through my perception of it, because this did hit me harder and harder as the song went on. And things I was like projecting the song onto, much like the image and how I mentioned it felt like that character was singing, I feel like those aren't entirely inaccurate. This sounds in tone by the end of it, and after everything has been said and I'm processing everything I just experienced, it sounds like a goddess singing to the people of Earth, or maybe one specific person, and kind of like lulling them in an odd lullaby of like, this might not be the end, but this is the life we have, this is the world we've given you, and it's the one you have to save and you have to make to the fullest using your own abilities. It almost sounds like a therapy session with that goddess, almost like they're trying to get you to understand your placement on this earth and how they perceive you, but also kind of working with you on how you're perceiving and allowing these thoughts to flow freely between and their perceptions in kind, like how they're just feeling each other out in a way. They're listening to each other and truly having a dialogue about their experiences. And this goddess figure of this song, which this song totally feels like it's being sung by a goddess, so I'm going to continue to call it that as like a personification of the vocalist here, because that's what it sounds like. And it feels like this goddess is like trying to weigh the decisions you've made and the choices that they've made, and figuring some sort of middle ground out in that dialogue they're having, like that you're the person that the goddess is talking to and that dialogue is between the two of you, maybe. It feels like every decision you've made in the game up to this point is now being reflected on. And that whole dialogue, I've tried to find ways to say this a few times, and I might have cut one or two of them out, but I'm finding it very difficult to like actually put it into words the way this song made me feel, because it felt so sincere. It really felt like a maternal figure trying to understand their child's personal perception of the world. It's going to be different from yours. As the goddess, they're like, well, maybe some of these decisions aren't the ones I would have made, but they're the ones that you've made. And together, this is the world we have, and this is how things are going to be. But also, it sounds like they're trying to comfort you from your own anxiety of those decisions and kind of quell those worries with talk of how good things relatively are and how peaceful things are in the moment. It's very weird to me because I don't have an experience with this game. I don't know how close I may be or how insanely far I may be on what I'm getting from this song, but as somebody who doesn't play the game and doesn't know where the story goes, where it even comes from, really, I'm sitting here hearing this song. It feels like a maternal figure talking to a child about life and decisions and how morality even plays a part in all of our lives. It's a very, very profound song that I did not anticipate having to get so introspective at 11:30 at night. This is making me think a lot more than I thought it would. And there's another side of me that's hearing this song and almost putting it into like a literal mortality situation where it's a goddess kind of singing you off, you know, like as you're dying. This is like the last thoughts in your mind, you having this dialogue with this goddess as if she's trying to shepherd you into the afterlife in a way. And it's such an interesting concept, the fact that you can kind of perceive that in either way, because if I take death out of it and it's just that dialogue, but then you put death into it, that dialogue could still be true. Like she's trying to talk to you about these decisions in your last moments, and it just changes the aftermath of the song necessarily, not necessarily the song itself. This could realistically happen, at least in the reality of the game, as a full dialogue after you've beat the big bad and things are all fine and good now, and maybe you didn't make the perfect pacifist run or so, and they're like, that's fine if you didn't, because sometimes life throws you curveballs and you have to deal with that, and you had to make those decisions. But also, that could be comforting if this is your final conversation. If these are your last breaths and you're kind of realizing the decisions you made and maybe contemplating what you could have changed, the goddess is trying to comfort you in the same way, but being like, hey, just because you made those decisions and maybe they were the wrong ones doesn't necessarily mean the world's going to end. But I want you to remember the good times you had and the positives about your life and not necessarily focus on all the negatives. Again, you could see that with or without the death. I think it could go either way, and maybe that's intentional. Maybe this song plays whether or not you win. Maybe this is something that plays in the credits after somebody kills you or you kill the big bad. Like, I don't know how this game functions, but the fact that this song contextually lands for either of those options is impressive lyrically and musically. The fact that the song doesn't let go of that tension the whole time, but also once in a while it loosens it a little bit. That tension specifically, like I already mentioned, that the release is kind of there just to soften it a little bit, but throughout the song it almost feels like you are, like, your soul is being like rendered from your body, but you keep holding back, like something keeps tying you back and holding you to your vessel, and you're just like, I would like to go, and something's like, nope, you've got to stay here. It feels like a struggle, but this whole time there's this beautiful voice trying to soften the blow a little bit. And I just, man, this is a lot. I'm struggling to find a continuous line of thought in this video. I'm probably gonna have to edit a lot of this out because there's so much I want to say. But the fact that it covers so much potential ground and I don't know enough about the game to truly be able to make a call, a yes or no on any of this, it's making it very difficult to just commit to any of these ideas. So I want you guys to tell me how close I am, if I'm completely off base, if this has nothing to do with any of that. When does this play? In what scenario does this story take place? Because I've literally been sitting here recording for over 20 minutes and I've been trying to rack my brain about what exact line, like A to B, this would connect. But I feel like this song is trying to be a beacon in the middle of a branching story that has so many options it would make my head spin. So let me know if I'm correct on my assumptions about how this song is kind of maybe for both death and life endings, potentially, or if it's just something completely unrelated and has nothing to do with anything endgame wise. So I'm going to end it there because, like I said, this is over 20 minutes long and I've just been racking my brain this whole time. I'm getting tired thinking about this song, but also with an inner peace that I just did not anticipate. I'm going to sleep well tonight because this song kind of put me at peace. But either way, thank you all so very much for watching. If you want to request something else, by all means, drop it in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to it. Or if, like Lysaria, you want to guarantee something, go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships. I have a tier that will guarantee a request out of me, no matter how good, how bad, how hilarious, or how serious the song is. It doesn't really matter. That's why it's a guaranteed request. But either way, if you like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!